Welcome, fellow safety and health professional, to another podcast in a series of podcasts based on an article in Safety and Health magazine that's all about you. My Philadelphia flight is canceled. A powerful winter storm had hit the Northeast, leaving the Las Vegas airport filled with disappointed travelers. Yesterday, I gave a keynote at a convention, so I wasn't worried about my delay since I was going home. I was just a little bit annoyed, of course. Isn't what I was expected, but I wasn't worried because if I was going to give a talk, then missing my flight could be, a problem. Now, this happened several years ago, but what happened has left a lasting impression on me because here I am at the airport and there's a lot of people walking around, and I figured, let me just go get some breakfast. So I had to wait in line for about an hour almost to get a table. And when I did get a table, it was one with 4 seats. So I'm sitting there by myself with 3 empty seats. And I look over at the line, and there's these 3 people. They're obviously together in a group, and they're laughing, and looks like they're very friendly people. So I go over to them, and I said, "Hey, I hope you don't mind. I know we're strangers, but I have a table over here with 3 empty seats. If you don't mind sitting and eating with me, yeah, you're welcome to have them." And so they came over, and by the time we parted ways, I had gotten from them 2 talks and a gig of doing like all kinds of consulting. It was incredible. I was so glad my flight had got canceled. See, I've learned to avoid fretting about when something happens. Instead, I learn from the experience when something goes wrong and look for ways to benefit from it. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. So here are a few tips on how you can better handle or how you can make negative experiences be sometimes even opportunities. First, don't give in to your negative thoughts. When something goes wrong, we dwell on how it hurts us. That's fine for a moment, but to give in and dwell on your misfortune is counterproductive and will rob you of the pleasure you could experience with positive thoughts. For example, I was momentarily annoyed at this flight, like I mentioned, being canceled, but I quickly told myself, snap out of it and enjoy my extended time at the airport. Now, I certainly didn't expect to get 3 gigs that day, but I was looking forward to making new airport friends, something I always enjoy. Also, I reminded myself how fortunate I was to be able to fly in the first place. Think of all the billions of people who can't do that. Second thing you can do is learn from what happened. Sometimes there isn't much to learn when something goes wrong. For example, I had no control over the weather and the date I was traveling, right? I could not do anything about them. Sometimes, though, you do something that helps cause the problem. For example, I've become an avid double checker. You'll see, because of my past mishaps, which is only once that I have to wake up late and barely make it to a talk. I mean, I'm talking, this was horrible. It was a keynote. And after that, I learned double check my alarm to make sure I've set it to AM and not PM. However, what you can learn from every situation, I don't care what it is that ways that you can handle it differently, better. For example, if someone does something, say a coworker, family member, whatever, that makes you upset and you snap at them, there's something you can think about and make changes, or at least be more aware of that. After you apologize, if you do, then think about, what was it? Why did I do that? Maybe, was it a stressful day? Maybe you were tired. Maybe there's a certain thing that you get upset about easily that you really shouldn't, that type of thing. You can still learn from it. And third and final one is to stick to your values. Now, one of my values is always be kind and friendly. Even when someone is rude to me or does something inappropriate, I still strive to react kindly. I'm nice when I meet a stranger, no matter what's happening in my life. I could have the worst day of my life. I still strive, as part of my values, to still be pleasant. Why should someone who doesn't know me get the brunt of my bad mood? So, and your values keep you grounded when you are going through tough times. Now, I'm sure you have values you live by too. Not just I just happen to mention mine. Keeping them close to your heart will help you handle even the most distressing events. For example, my favorite example of sticking to this of your values is Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. Frankl spent years in a concentration camp and yet learned much from it and strove to help his fellow prisoners, even sharing food with them. What he discovered while in camp ended up helping millions of other humans by his books, particularly, well, the one book in particular, and also he started helping people with their life. I know his writings have inspired me, particularly during troubling times. So, the next time you're in a traffic jam or your flight gets canceled, don't fret. Make the best of the situation. You never know, it could turn into a profitable opportunity.